How's it going, Plant Heroes? Plant Hero Call here today from Hawaii with the biggest Staghorn Fern I've ever seen. This is growing naturally attached to the tree, and this is just a work of Mother Nature's art. So if you want to learn more about these beauties, let's dive on in. Okay, so I am not in Hawaii anymore, sadly, but I will have a Hawaii video coming out soon for you. I found some awesome rare plants there and was able to bring a couple seeds back, cleared by the Airport Department of Agriculture, ordered a few others online. So we'll do a little planting test run, see how they grow in the future. I'll talk about the Staghorn Ferns in 2 seconds, but if you enjoy any of this, please drop some fertilizer on that like button, because that will help us grow, help this video get seen by more people, and hopefully we can spread some good knowledge. And if you have any thoughts on my tips or anything I missed, drop that down in the comments and we can all gather and grow from each other. The Staghorn Fern, or the Platycerium Bifurcatum, gets the name because Bifurcatum is relating to the fronds that come out. They actually branch and divide as they grow. You can kind of see a little bit right here. That's what gives it its antler sort of staghorn shape. And speaking of these fronds, these higher ones up here, these are called the antler fronds. They're the ones that actually hold the spores. So let's, maybe I can pull a close up for you. You can't really see any. These are not mature fronds really yet. When they do mature a little more, they'll start turning a little more brown on the tips, and that's when the spores are ready to take off and hopefully find their way to a good landing spot. So up here, the antler fronds are where the fertile fronds are. Down here, you can kind of see in here, this flat one is called the shield frond. So this is how it keeps attached to the tree, or to whatever kind of, it keeps it protected. That's what a shield does. How these grow in the wild is, you can kind of see behind me, you saw in the earlier part of the video, on a tree. They're epiphytes. So they're like bromeliads, they're like orchids, they're like air plants, and it will grow kind of, imagine my arm is a tree and this is the branch. So it will grow right kind of in the nook of the branch, or even just on the side of the tree, and it'll attach all these shield fronds to the tree, keep its roots protected, and that actually helps it keep in moisture, and it even traps some of the debris falling from above in the tree. So it's kind of, one of the reasons I love it is because it's an ingenious little mechanism. It's got 2 different types of growth. So Staghorn ferns are actually native to Australia and Southeast Asia, live in the rainforest, kind of in the middle of the canopy, where they definitely get good bright light, but not direct sun. So when you're picking a place to keep it in your house, you're going to want to make sure that it has a lot of bright natural light. I wouldn't say artificial light is even sufficient for it. You want to keep it moist. As in the rainforest, it's constantly getting drenched with rain and then given a chance to dry out. I would water it probably once every 2 weeks maybe. I wouldn't go overboard, because if it's too wet, it'll get rotty, and it holds in all of this moisture. It's its natural mechanism. You can maybe even take it in the shower with you, obviously a cold shower, but really soak it through, let it drip dry completely before you put it back in place. You can find them in nurseries more commonly in a grow pot. You can find them also attached to a piece of wood. You can actually take one of these, affix it to a piece of wood yourself. This is a cork mat. I don't think this would be the most ideal, but I did hear if you wanted to, you could use cedar, because cedar wood doesn't rot. And what you would do is you would basically, take this out of its grow pot and shake off the excess soil, and then you kind of flatten out the roots a little bit. And when you do plant it in, you're going to want to put the shield frond facing downward, and the growth point where the antler fronds are coming out, or the bud area, towards the top, because that's how it would grow on a tree. And then you mount it like that. You can use a little sphagnum moss. I've seen it with chicken wire or fishing line or anything. You could even probably staple in the moss around the sides, and you know, just create a little pocket for it to sit. If you wanted to do that, I could maybe make a video on that if anyone wants to see it. That's kind of more of a DIY project. I like them just as they are in a pot. I think they're unique. They all look totally different. I've got a couple others here. This one's a little bigger. You can see totally different shape. And the shield fronds on this one are actually sandwiching together, and the bud or the growth point is up here. So if I were to try and mount this one, I would put the shield fronds on the bottom and then the growth point up here. Now, speaking of these shield fronds, there's something to note here. You can see this shield frond is green and these ones are a little brown. So this is natural. This is what happens. This is, you know, you can probably see this on the tree that I was just showing you in Hawaii. They dry and they create a protective layer, and they'll just keep lapping onto each other more and more and more and sandwiching in. So don't remove the brown if it is brown, because that's totally fine, and you will damage the plant, the whole kind of natural growth process if you do. So rule number one is don't mess with this at all. Don't be alarmed if you do see a little bit of browning here. It might mean the fern is just a little bit on the dry side. You know, that's what we're aiming for, is not too dry, but not soaked all the time. You want to give it a chance to dry out, especially in the soil here. It's a little temperamental with, it could stay too wet in the soil. I think the roots want to be a little more dry than they can be in the soil, but you know, where there's a will, there's a way. As far as general care goes, I might water this one every 2 weeks, give it about a pint of water, let it soak through, let it make sure it drains out of the bottom. I can show you right here. So these are the little fronds coming out right there, little baby ones, and then some detail on these. These are kind of soft and fuzzy. It's kind of like a baby's foot or something. General care, if you do see a totally dead piece to it, you can clip it off. If it's like crunchy and crispy, I would get rid of it. You got to be careful because sometimes the brown is actually just a natural thing that's happening. So unless it's really crispy, I would leave it on and let it do its natural thing. Fertilizing, I would probably stick to something very even keel. If you want to fertilize more often, you can do a 1-1-1 mix, or if you want to fertilize less often, a 10-10-10 mix is probably perfect. But they're not going to need a lot unless it's in a super high light environment. It probably won't need fertilizer all that often. Just like any plant, it's got to eat. Ferns are amazing. The whole spore mechanism is, you know, just mind-boggling that, you know, one little particle could fly off of this, land in some soil, you know, 50 feet away or on a tree or something, and take root and turn into a whole new plant. More on ferns and spores hopefully in the future, but for now I think that'll do it. If you enjoyed this, please drop some fertilizer on that like button. It would really help me, help our channel, help us grow. And if you have any thoughts, drop them down in the comments. If you comment, you could be entered into our giveaway. Once we reach 1,000 plant heroes, we are going to be giving away 3 awesome plant related prizes. That's like the most exciting thing happening for me right now in a lot of aspects, minus in my recent Hawaii trip. In one of the next couple of videos coming out, there's the biggest surprise of my life that you will see that I am 4 thumbs up stoked about. More on that later. For now, stay safe. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed my staghorns. If you have any questions, let me know, because I would love to research anything that I don't know about them. If you have any other information about them, maybe how the spore process works or how they propagate, please let me know, because, you know, I mean, I would have these all around my house if I could, and I mean, I kind of do. So anyway, take care. Later.